Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Psychic Medium Ray, and today I'm going to be doing a psychic reading on the Menendez brothers. Now, believe it or not, they have been in the spotlight because there is a new Netflix series called The Monsters, or I can't remember the exact name, but it does follow the story of the Menendez brothers, who in 1989, I believe this could have been 88, 89, they basically murdered their parents. Their father, Jose Menendez, was a very prolific, very well-known man in the industry, in the music industry, and I believe he became the CEO of RCA Records at the time. So this all transpired in their Beverly Hills home. For a lot of you that don't know, I'm not going to give too much details, only that they came from behind, I believe, and they shot the father, basically decapitating him with the rifle that was used, or the weapon that was used to blow his head off, and they shot the mother multiple times, and it was a bloody, very bloody, gory crime scene. They were tried, and I believe there was like two trials, if I'm not mistaken, or two attempts to convict, and then finally they were convicted, and are now in prison, been in prison for a long time. And recently Kim Kardashian has been in the news because she's trying to get them out of prison, but citing that there's new evidence. There was evidence that was very foretelling, that a lot of what the Menendez brothers were saying was very factual. In fact, if you follow the story, there's a photo of when Lyle and Eric were both on the lap of their father, and I believe it's Lyle. I'm not sure if it was Lyle or Eric, but I think it was Lyle. The father is holding him on his lap, but he has his hand in the private part area, which is very disturbing, to say the least, to hold a child from that area. But it kind of paints the picture of what was being said. And I believe in 1988, um, one of the brothers did let them know that, one of his cousins know, like, or someone in the family know, that there was abuse. There was a letter that was written, and that it was still continuing to happen. And he started, I believe, with the oldest brother, and then kept going on with the younger one. And so there was a lot of abuse, sexual abuse, mental, physical abuse. There's a scene and I haven't finished seeing the whole series of Netflix because I didn't want to really be influenced by it. But there's a scene in there where they're having dinner and blah blah blah, and Kitty, the mother of the Menendez brothers, gets up, and I believe she goes over to Lyle and pulls off his toupee. He was bald, and I guess he was trying to cover it up. Some people, some kids, some young men go into alopecia, or have alopecia at a very young age. So that was very disturbing. But I'm here to kind of tell you the other things that I do see and hear, and I do feel like there's a lot of this feeling of, like, rage from the Menendez brothers and the abuse that was going on, but also their father had a very dark skeletons in his closet. And I do feel like he was involved in a lot of Hollywood satanic, um you know rituals and stuff. It's like you don't just get to that position or that level of success, in the music industry, without having to do things. And I do feel like he was what we would call a predator. I do feel like it was, his kids were not the only victims. And I do believe that there was somebody I don't remember, I was looking at something, I believe it was a younger person that was maybe signed, or could have been a member of Menudo, that band, or some other band, I can't remember, but it was a younger guy that also claimed that he was raped by Jose Menendez. So there's definitely a history here of abuse, and it's very disturbing. But we're gonna get down to it right now, and see what comes up. Um, yeah, the Wheel of Fortune is interesting. I do feel like the brother's name brothers' names will be kind of vindicated with the fact that they are trying to get released from prison, or like at least that's the whole goal. I do feel like there was a lot of money, dirty money, like the father before they were murdered. Um, the father was involved in some very shady business operations. I would not be surprised if there was like a drug lord involved in all this, like with the personal dealings, the money, the record company. This is the father. I do believe that when he was murdered, he became very earthbound. And I do feel like he has haunted believe it or not, the Menendez brothers. I feel like they have had paranormal experiences they're not necessarily going to talk about. And I haven't even finished all the documentary or the Netflix series to know, but I feel like he has come around them to kind of like spook them out to cause them harm. He's not okay, and he's not willing to like transition because of the way that he was murdered. The mother has crossed over, I feel like, but I don't feel like the father has crossed over. And there's a lot of other dark secrets that are going to come out too. This is just the beginning of the Menendez brothers story being told. I definitely feel like the father was cheating on the mother. There was somebody else as well, a younger woman. So Kitty was not the only one. There was a lot of unfaithfulness, and I feel like he promised a lot of the people, these kids that he would target, he promised them the moon and stars, would want to buy them stuff to try to buy their affection and have them, hushed. I do feel like there was a lot of threats as well. And with the Two of Wands, I felt like he wanted to get away, like he wanted to move eventually, but I do feel like there was a lot of lies. He would psychologically lie to the children, to his sons, but also to other people, to Kitty. And I do feel like he took their innocence. He really did. I feel like there was just a lot of sexual abuse. There was a lot of inebriation, like he was getting drunk. And I feel like one of the brothers, they try to run away from the house. I feel like this was like an idea. They wanted to just get away and run away, but they were used to the lifestyle as well. I do feel like other family members knew about the abuse, like I said, but they kept their mouths shut. They didn't say anything. And you have to understand, back in the 80s, when all this transpired, early 90s, a lot of this stuff was like there were excuses. People didn't really believe, that a male, could be, but justice was carried out. I do feel like the brothers did what they had to do. It doesn't make it condone the fact that they murdered, because it is a murder still. But it's just like Gypsy Rose. When I look at that situation too, she didn't carry it out, but her boyfriend did. But if she wouldn't have, like I've said, if you haven't seen that video, if she wouldn't have gotten out of that situation, I do feel like her mom would have killed her. And I feel like they were torn. One of the brothers wanted to do this, one of the other brothers was against it. And I do feel like it was like, I even feel like they fought. The brothers had a conversation, or they would bicker about this amongst each other, and it was like there was a lot of emotions running high. But I do feel like the Ace of Swords, like there's this whole energy here where I feel like um now divine justice is kind of taking place, where they did not receive the justice that they deserved. In fact, they were tried and sent away, but somehow their father is receiving his karmic justice by being trapped in living hell and reliving his death over and over and over. In fact, I don't know if that mansion is um standing, or they've demolished it or whatnot. But if it's standing, there's definitely haunted energy in there, and I do feel like his soul, it wanders that property. But it does pop in over to the prisons, or the prison where the brothers are at right now. I do feel like there's he does visit and get into they have very dark dreams and nightmares. Now, what they did was also opening up a portal of darkness for them. So I feel like they always are going to attract demons, negative energy. And it's the bald brother, I believe it's Lyle. I believe that's his name. And there's something about him, when I look in his eyes, it's very creepy, and it's like there's something living in there, but it's not him. And I just feel like with the Two of Pentacles, like there's a lot of weighing here, a lot of decisions. They're hoping to get out of the system and be pardoned or forgiven, but I just feel like even though they did it out of self-defense, they did a crime, and this tells it, you know. And I do feel like they're not going to get out. I don't feel like they would be. I feel like this because at this point they've been so much behind the system, in the system, they wouldn't be functional. You know, remember they were kept there by their dad and his money. They were millionaires, but they were set to inherit that or whatever. But I just feel like they wouldn't be productive, and I also feel like they'd be a danger to society. As sad as that is to say, I do feel like those killer instincts are still there, you know, and I also feel like there was a lot of inner struggle, especially with like Eric and Lyle in prison with their sexuality and and you know a lot of guilt dealing with the abuse and stuff. But I do feel even though they are married, I believe they did get married to women and while they were in prison, I definitely feel like they are not fully straight, and I do feel like there is a lot of things that happen in the prison I'm not going to go into, but you kind of know. I do feel like there's a lot of guilt though and trauma that they deal with. Um, but I don't believe that they were meant to procreate in this lifetime. So I don't know if they have children, but I believe like they are not meant to have children in this lifetime. And this is their destiny. Because a lot of this is a generational curse. I think what was done to Jose, sorry, what was done to the brothers by Jose was also done to him by somebody in his family. And it's almost like that's what I'm hearing, generational curses and stuff. Um, but I do feel like um there's just a lot of like pain here, a lot of struggles, and I do feel like other people in the record company knew what kind of person Jose was, but again, they didn't say anything because they were probably in it too, a lot like P. Diddy. I feel like I hate to make this comparison, but Jose Menendez was like the P. Diddy of the 1980s. And I do feel even though he didn't have a music, he wasn't a singer, a performer, I just feel like there was a lot of dark things going on here. And I also feel that the Menendez brothers will write a book, or there's going to be like a book. There might be other interviews that are done with them too, but um, I do feel, down the road, um, one of the Menendez brothers will pass. And I feel like it will be one of them within the next 5 years or less. I'm not sure by what, but I do feel like one of them has, and it could be Lyle, but I do feel like there are health issues, obviously, that they have, and they're much older in the system. But I do feel like this is the Nine of Swords. They don't sleep well at night at all. Again, their father haunts them, and they've had to be strong for a long time. But that wears thin in prison, with everything that's going on. And I feel like their grandmother is watching over them from heaven. I really do. I feel like she's there, and I do feel like, again, the angels are there. But it's interesting because I get the devil card. I feel like that's the mother and the father, like in purgatory, even though I know the father's earthbound. I also feel like the mother's soul's not at rest. But there's going to be, I feel like, I feel like, yeah, I feel like the death card is showing like there's something here that comes up from all of this. I almost want to say I feel like when this Netflix film or this Netflix series was being made on the set, I wonder if there was anything weird happening with them, because I feel like those scenes, the actors would have been impacted on some level, and I also feel like this would be Jose Menendez spirit not wanting this story told, because there's a lot of shame and guilt and anger from this person. But I do feel, that things go on a lot from this. I feel like there was there was like cocaine and stuff that the father would do um that the boys, I don't feel like, really understood that he was really into a lot of other things as well. And I felt like the father had a very bad sexual addiction. There's just a lot of stuff I won't say on here, but definitely things that he would do, tendencies, um and fantasies that he would carry out. So definitely like porn addictions and stuff like that. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. I feel like there was, in that time, what we would call today human trafficking or sex trafficking that was going on with Jose Menendez and the whole RCA, etc. Uh, at that time, the people that were closest to him, there was that going on. And I just feel also, um, I feel like Kitty was abused herself. I don't feel like that marriage was perfect. I feel like she was like a trophy wife for him, but I do feel like there was abuse. And again, I don't know because I haven't really seen all of the series, but I plan on seeing it. But I do feel that there definitely was a lot of abuse that she endured as well. Because imagine if he's doing this to kids, and other people, what he was doing, to her. Um, but I do feel like the brothers will find peace, but I do feel like there's a lot of spiritual protection that they need and cleansing from what they did, and really to kind of look at things from a different angle. The public, this great that their story is being told now, and there's a lot being shed, but I definitely feel like there's a lot more that is not being said either. And on some level, there was. I will end it with this. I do feel like on some level there was this thought of them that if they eliminated their dad, they would inherit all that money and they could live a better life, and not have to work and worry about things, but the money does change people. And I feel like even though they did what they did for whatever reason they did it, which I get, it was all rooted with temptation and darkness. And also um they were not meant to have that. I feel like that soul contract when they murdered Jose and the mother, that soul contract that they had was from a past life with their father, and their mother was broken. It was like the shackles were broken. But there is a lot of karmic lessons for them, and I do feel like they will not reincarnate when it's their time. But that's what I have for you guys tonight. So be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe. I will be doing more here on my channel, but also on Patreon. Also, all of my readings are 30% off right now. If you want to book a reading, go to www.raymondguzman.net/readings. And also for a limited time, if you buy an emergency reading, it's a BOGO offer. You will get one free. All right, guys, until next time. Bye.